So hey there everybody, Andrew King here, Canadian musician. We are at Canadian Music Week 2016 and the gentleman beside me, SOCAN CEO Eric Baptiste, and the association very well represented here during CMW. A few things that we want to speak with Eric about. A first one is that fairly recently we got the report about SOCAN's 2015 financial results and continuing a trend that we've seen year after year, setting new highs, new record totals and payouts to members. That's a great place to start. What are some of the efforts, both that SOCAN has been making, but maybe also your membership, that have contributed to these fairly significant year-over-year increases?
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be here, Andrew. One thing that we want to underline is the amazing talent that we represent. A lot of those record numbers are coming from international sources, so royalties that we collect indirectly from the US, from France, from Germany, you name it. And that is, of course, impacted by the huge success that people like The Weeknd or Shawn Mendes, Alicia Cara, Magic have been having in recent years. So that's one thing I want to highlight immediately. Credit to our members, credit to Canadian creators. They rule the world at this time, and it's reflected in SOCAN's financial results. Another thing we've been doing is SOCAN has been very diligent in licensing all businesses that use music across Canada. We've been able to grow the pie significantly by keeping the traditional revenues like media, radio, TV, cable quite high, and adding digital sources. If you add to this all the continuous improvement that SOCAN has been deploying over these years, we've been able to reduce the cost of running SOCAN to 9.5% in 2014 and 9.2% in 2015, and that's one of the record low numbers across the world. So more collections, fewer costs equals record distributions to our 135,000 Canadian members. SOCAN is very proud to be delivering these results.
You mentioned, increasing and being diligent about collections and working with venues or spaces where music is being used. Tell me a bit about those efforts. How are you, constantly getting out there and making sure that not only are you tapping into making sure that these folks are licensees, but also pitching it to them so that they understand that, it's a fair kind of model that's ultimately in everyone's best interest?
One good example of what SOCAN has been doing is this event, Canadian Music Week. We've declared it for the second year in a row, licensed to play by SOCAN. So it means that all the venues that are host to Canadian Music Week events have a license with SOCAN. We collect revenues on behalf of our SOCAN members, and we will be able to distribute those revenues, those royalties to our SOCAN members. It's a very successful campaign. It's just one example here, CMW, but there are tens of thousands of businesses that proudly display the license to play sticker on their door or windows. Also, if they are kind of digital services, we have a digital version that you can see on the websites. It's a kind of electronic seal of approval, license to play. Those businesses proudly declare that they understand the contribution that SOCAN members, Canadian creators bring to their businesses, and they want to use music legally and ethically.
Excellent. I want to ask about some other initiatives that you've got on the go currently, but before that, one that was recently unrolled, and I think to a very good reception, was that SOCAN members can now become members through an online application process, whereas previously it was a physical form that needed to be submitted, and there was a bit more time involved. Tell me a bit about what made now the time to decide to move this into online platform, and ultimately, maybe just some of the things you had to keep in mind when developing that to make sure that it was as thorough as doing it the previous way.
Well, SOCAN wants to be as easy, as simple to use for our members as possible. There are new expectations these days. We all live in a world that has been completely transformed by digital technologies and interfaces. So why would a SOCAN process be more difficult than a banking process or an insurance process? So it's been for a long time possible to start your application online. SOCAN has been one of the first societies to make that possible. But there was a stage where you needed to print a document and mail it back to us. I decided to eliminate that. Everything can now be done in less than 10 minutes, 7 to 9, depending on how fast you type information. When you have 135,000 members, when you have people as young as 15, 16 joining SOCAN, we need to live up to their expectations. We want to be living with our times, and we're very proud. We've seen the number of applications multiplied by 5 since at the same time since we introduced this new process.
Wow, I had no idea. Actually, that's fairly significant. So yeah, with that, we talked about moving to an entirely online application process. You mentioned the efforts of collecting and making sure that you're working with as many venues as possible. What are some of the other initiatives that SOCAN currently has on the go, whether they're fairly recent or things that you've taken on, or maybe even just ongoing ones that we haven't touched on?
Well, at SOCAN, all of us, all the about 300 employees across the country and in the US, we're working very hard to future-proof the organization. So, as you know, we've been the first society in the world to allow people to see behind the systems. We've allowed drill-down statements, so SOCAN members can see exactly how many spins on any given radio station in Canada their music has been enjoying. So we'll continue to make that available, of course, but there are new tools relating to transparency, sharing the information we have with our members, making sense of the information in ways that speak to you or me or our colleagues over there. We're all different. We all have different expectations, all different needs. It's business intelligence. Whether you're a published or unpublished SOCAN member, whether you're very successful or on the way of becoming successful, this business intelligence is information that you can use to increase your opportunities to be even more successful. So stay tuned. There are lots of things that we'll be announcing in the next few weeks and months. Some will be improvements on the transparency and business intelligence tools on our web, social, and mobile platforms, because don't forget that we also have mobile apps. And some will be even more transformative in order to really lead the world. I'm not afraid to say that in tackling the metadata questions and issues on digital platforms.
Excellent. And one more for you. I mean, we're here at Canadian Music Week 2016. SOCAN, a major sponsor across a number of the initiatives going on here. And yeah, during the conference, I mean, a few of the hot button topics, streaming has come up in many sessions. Same as, I was in one the other day, beyond AM and FM. Traditional broadcasters moving into the digital domain. These are just examples, but what are some of the current or emerging trends that you and your colleagues are noticing that are currently affecting your operations, or that might, whether they're encouraging ones or maybe disconcerting ones that you're wanting to keep a close eye on?
Well, SOCAN is here as a major sponsor because we've become the biggest company, organization in the Canadian music ecosystem because of the shifts in the music business, with the kind of decline in recording music and the strength of media and live music. So we take our position as the leader of the Canadian music ecosystem very seriously. So we want to be part of events like CMW. It's also something that I want to underline again. Having an event that is kind of worldwide in nature in Toronto every year is something very important for the health of the Canadian music ecosystem. One thing to keep in mind, SOCAN's revenues for our members have been growing year after year, and it's based on two things. The strength of the traditional business. Don't discount traditional TV and radio yet. Their death has been greatly exaggerated. They're not up a lot, but they're still going up. In 2016, the current numbers I see show that TV and radio are going up, not going down. But we've been able to add digital revenue. those are growing fast. One digital service, very well known, had a 1,000% increase in the royalties they send SOCAN on behalf of our members year on year, January 2015, January 2016, but from a low base. The biggest wish I have would be for all those digital services that we license when they are in Canada to be even more successful. To have more subscribers, more ads on their free tiers. When they have free tiers, that would be paid more, so that the royalties we collect on their activities would grow faster and quicker, in order to be maybe not on par, but close to what our members can expect from radio, cable, and network TV.
Again, Canadian Music Week 2016, Eric Baptiste, CEO of SOCAN. As we heard here, easier than ever to become a member if you're a music creator, author, publisher. This is your association, and make sure that you're being properly compensated for your work. Eric, thanks very much for joining us.
A pleasure. Thank you very much. Yes, this is your organization. Each of the 135,000 plus members are owners and governors of SOCAN. This is your company. We work for you. We work only for you. We don't work for anyone else. You control it. Tell us how we're doing, and hopefully we will surprise you again with improvements, with good results, and improvements in the digital realm as well, not just in the traditional realm. And it's a time where Canadian music should be celebrated all around the world, and we're very proud to be playing a big part in making sure SOCAN members can expect to be fairly compensated from their creativity and hard work.
Plenty to look forward to, plenty to be optimistic about. We'll sign off from Canadian Music Week 2016.